Hey everybody, this is John with Tackle That, and today we're going to go over this DIY power station. It's a great way to put a lot of power in a small space, and it's budget friendly. So let's tackle that. All right, before we get started, I want to keep this video short as possible, but I'm actually not going to include any solar charge controllers in this build. If I need them, they're here, but the amount of solar panels that would take to charge this in a reasonable time doesn't really make this system portable. So I want a portable system. I can charge it when I'm stationary with panels if I want, or connect it up to the grid, and I'm good to go. So at least that's my 2 cents on the subject. All right, let's get into the build. So just trying to plan out how we were going to put all the electronics and the batteries in this box. I came up with a pretty good solution. We got a 100 amp hour and 250 amp hour batteries and an inverter, leaving us some space for our switches and fans, lights, other cool stuff we want to do, plugs. After a lot of thinking and standing in the aisle at Home Depot, I've decided this box is not going to work. For one, it doesn't have a lot of square footage to mount a whole bunch of accessories. I mean, we could probably make it work, but it would be a small system. And the other thing is, when you put all these batteries in there, it gets really heavy. So I definitely wanted something with wheels. Now, Rigid makes a wheel system that goes underneath this, but the handle doesn't go down all the way, so it really stays big and bulky. But I did like everything else. The price was right, but that handle really threw me off. It stood maybe 2 to 3 feet high and stuck way over the box, so it doesn't make the system very compact. Now, what I actually ended up going with is the DeWalt box. So it's a little bit more expensive, but it has a lot more flat surface areas to mount plugs and accessories and switches and a lot of cool stuff. So also a little taller and a little more area in there, and then of course got a nice big wheel, so we can roll this solar charger, generator, battery bank, station slash whatever else you want to call it around without killing my back. So let's get to it. I got the Redodo Mini 100 amp hour battery, which I really like, and that fits great in there. I probably could have fit, let's see, 1, 2, definitely 3 of those in there, making it a almost 4,000, well, just under 4,000 watt hour system. But we're going to put this guy in there. We're going to put 2 50 amp hour batteries in there. Hey, now that fits really good. And this has a little surface area over here on the front. So we might want to move this over a tad. Something like that. And then I can put some plugs and stuff here. I also got this 36 amp hour battery that we can add to the mix here. So that would bring my total up to 3,020 watt hours of battery power for my solar generator system. So that's really a lot. I'm going to do all the pricing and let you know exactly what this costs, and we'll compare it to something like a Blue Yeti or the other ones out there that are really popular. But what I do know is a DIY system is fairly easy to assemble. It's not going to be as compact and pretty, but it'll be maybe half the price or less if you really can find good deals on stuff. I'm not really even trying to find good deals. You know, I paid full price for most of this stuff, so you can find toolboxes and whatnot at garage sales. You can buy batteries used that are still in great condition. You really can build a really affordable battery backup system for yourself. So let's get this all wired up and we'll see how she works. thing fits in here perfect. And we'll be able to mount our inverter on there, and that will be awesome. All right, let's start showing you some of these accessories that are going to go on this box. This is a marine panel for a boat. It's waterproof. It's got a USB connection. Both are 2 amp ports, which is nice. Also a 12 volt socket. And then it has a voltage readout so we can see where our batteries are at. And then it's all got all these nice fuses for each one of these switches. So 5 accessories you can turn on. Now what I'm actually going to do is wire this a little differently, in the fact that instead of controlling 5 different accessories, I'm going to have the first switch, I'm going to wire it backwards, where I'm going to put power to the first switch, and since all these are running parallel, the first switch is going to turn on the rest of the accessories. So I can turn this whole panel and all of these additional accessories on and off with just that one first switch. So essentially that's where you would normally run it to a battery. We're going to cut this positive off, and then we're going to run it this way. So this first switch, before it goes out to all the other circuitry, is going to turn this whole panel on and off. The other cool thing is they have these little stickers that come with it. So for the first one, we're going to mount it this way, and it's going to say electronics. So we can put this little sticker in there, and then we know what each one of these switches are going to do. And it comes with a whole bunch of these different words depending on what you're trying to wire up. Lights and refrigerators and instruments and cockpit lights and bait tank, VHF radios, regular radios, winch, wipers, streaming light, trim tabs. It's all geared towards a boat, but you'll find most of the stuff that you need are going to be in here, like lights and accessories and radio, blower, fan. Those are the ones I'm going to be using. So really cool. Love this thing. Now for the fan, we might use this little guy or this big boy. I just don't know how big of a hole I want to cut in this box, but this would fit nicely there, so I might do that. That way I can keep this thing nice and cool. When you put all these electronics in a box, you really want to have good ventilation. So this isn't a sealed box, which I kind of like, so it'll be able to suck in air from around this lid and then just push it out this backside, which has a little bit of an overhang from the box. So combined with a little screen, it really should make it you know, a little bit more water resistant, because the wind will be blowing out of the box. So the chances of water actually getting in while it's running would be pretty rare. Alright, another cool thing we're mounting to this box are some LED strip lights. These are RV waterproof grade. So I'm going to put one on the front and one on the back, and I'll have a switch that can turn those on and off, and we can light up our way. I'm also going to have these blue ones on there too. I'm going to put them all around, so this would be kind of more like a night light. These aren't very bright, but they're just enough to kind of light the area around this box, which would be cool if we bring this thing on the boat or camping. It'll give us some nice aesthetics. Now the other thing I have is a plug that we can put on the outside of the box, and this is weatherproof with a nice rubber boot and cover, and then this will just plug right into the inverter, making that nice and convenient. The other thing I have is an inlet for power, so we can run the power side of the extension cord in to the box, and I can attach a charger and charge up my batteries without opening the box as well. I haven't decided if I want to use these yet, but if we do need more plugs, these are RV plugs. I'll have to figure out how to wire that up a little bit better. This was going to go to a 3,000 watt system, so I might still use it for that. Now the cool thing is the inverter I have has basically a shunt. It's not like crazy accurate, but it'll tell you how many watts your load is drawing from your battery bank. So we'll mount this on the outside, and then it also has a power button, so we can turn the inverter on and off, so we're not draining the battery if we're just using lights or something like that. Now, something I did have to pick up was a 2-inch hole saw, so we can cut these out of the box nice and easy, nice and clean. Again, those are pretty cheap on Amazon. Now what I hope to do, I'm working with Amazon now, is to have links in the description for you for all these things if you need them. Of course, you know, not obligated to buy it, but if you did find this helpful, it does give me a little bit of a kickback. But as these get more popular, I hope I can do even more videos for you guys and really show you some cool stuff. So that's it for now. This actually came out of a NEMA box that I had. Put another inverter, waterproof case for an inverter. So this was just kind of laying around, which is crazy that it fits in there perfectly. The inverter we'll use is a 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. So that will power just about anything that I need. I'm not really trying to power a whole RV or something crazy. This is just a nice way of taking some power camping or on the boat. You know, when we run the Christmas lights on the boat, I can just bring this thing along and it can power Christmas lights or a small refrigerator or freezer or anything, any of my accessories, a little compressor. It can really power, it could charge my mini bikes that we got back here and make sure that I'm never without power. So really excited to build this guy. All right, I'll start putting her together. Now it's time to just look at the design, eat some delicious food, and just think. So once I start cutting these holes, I'm not going to be able to undo them. So I want it to be right. And I want this to last me a long time. So give it a little extra thought. See if there's anything else I want to move, add, delete, and go from there. Alright, I think I'm happy with the design, the layout. I'm going to put 2 plugs here. It'll save some space for some other accessories if we need it. Put the marine switch plate here. Fan is going to go below it. And we'll put some lights on the front and on the back. And then the blue lights all the way around 360. Yeah, so let's do it. actually thinking this fan's too small, this fan's too big, but I hooked this thing up and it can blow a lot of power. This little brushless fan. And it also fits perfectly right here. And I think that'll do. And then for inlets, I'm going to drill some holes here so the cool air will come in and go across the box and out the other side. Alright, you want to test it out?
This one.
Alright, do the top one. Hey, we got power. Alright, do the next one. Nope, you got to keep that one on. Alright. Oh, that's the fan. Alright.
Like
Fan's installed. We just need to hook up our ground. And we'll get the fan working. And then we'll work on some more. What do you think, Huxley?
Good.
Okay. Checking in with you guys. Starting to get things wired up. It's not all pretty yet, but we're getting there. So, got the battery in there to test. We have the electronics on. We got our fan hooked up. Spinning away. Now we're going to try the lights. Woo! There we go. Lights on the front and the back. Perfect. Awesome. We're getting the lights in and wired up. Got our nice butt connectors on there. We have some cable management with these loops. And it's going to hold all the wires against the side. Now, obviously I got to clean it up a little bit still, but I ordered a fuse block that's going to sit here. So we have some little extra protection on here. And we've got this 2 5/16 bus bar attached here, which gives us some more posts for all our different connections. So working out really good. And then this is our negative terminals. So I got the negative running in there, and then I just have it daisy chained, and I'm tying each one of the negative circuits there. And then this is all for your positive circuits, which are switched. So we got the fuses in. So what we did is a little multi-block, and we put a little bus bar here, and we'll have a 100 amp fuse and a 40 amp fuse. We'll use the 100 amp for hooking up to the inverter, and we'll use the 40 amp for accessories and charging. So this is just placement for testing, but we're going to put these batteries all in and get this thing wired up. So let's do it. Don't do that, guys. This is the positive side. This is the negative side. Golly. Sleeping on the job over here. Negative. Cool. Nothing bad happened. Thankfully. See, that BMS probably kicked in and tripped and then came right back on a few seconds later. Very nice. All right. We'll get that tightened up. We'll get this plate mounted with our inverter. We'll put this in next. With this guy. And we'll be able to test out our 120 volt. Exciting. Alright guys, instead of just connecting this up and creating a big spark, let's use this pre-charged resistor I got. I've never used it before, but let's see. Supposedly if we connect this here and here, we'll allow the current to fill up the capacitor in the inverter without creating a big spark. So let's see if it works. Yeah, she works. Perfect. All right, let's connect her up. Let's go underneath these wires. Ooh, don't connect that to the black ones. There we go. Something like that. It's a little bit messy in here, but we'll clean it up. We'll clean it up one day. This one's way too high. All right, that's good. Everything is very tight. Good. Good. Check all of our connections. Because a loose wire will either mean you'll lose energy, create heat, or most likely both. Now, I don't particularly like this terminal here, where you have to use your fingers. So let's get some pliers. Let's see if we can tighten these down. There we go. All right. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. You shouldn't be able to move any of your terminals. All right. I think that's pretty good for this go. I might turn some of this stuff around and route it a little bit better, but for now, she's connected. Let's turn her on. What do you guys think? Plug in this. Just enough space to work with this. We're going to go to the bottoms in case we need to use that top one for anything. We've got it available. Perfect. That's that. This one's for our charger. And let's double check. Let's see if we got power. Oh, we do. Our fan working. Lights. Ooh, big lights. And the last switch for future use. All right, 12 volts working. Let's see if 120 volts. Ooh, we got a green light. I think she's on. Let's hook up a light and see. Moment of truth. She gonna work, guys? Woo! She does. All right. We don't have this thing hooked up yet. Let's get the, nope. It's hidden under there. Let's find that wire and connect up our inverter. Oh boy. Should have definitely did that first, of course. There's always that one wire. Oh, yeah, there it is. Oh, that's sharp. Oh. Got it. Put it back down without damaging any of my wires. Just like that. Cut this up here. Looky looky, we've got a display. But I can't turn it off. Oh, there it goes. All right. I am super happy with that. Let's give her one last test. Let's see. Oh yeah. Very nice. Cool. So let's get it all cleaned up and she'll be ready for a real world test. All right, let's do a little load test. Plug her in. Inverter's on. Everything hooked up. So this is a high and low, which is about, I don't know, 700 watts and maybe 1400 watts. So let's see if she can run on low. Oh, that's high. 1300 watts. Whoa, let's turn that down. Let's turn that down. All right, 700 watts, 710 watts on low. Whoop, it's hot. Cool. So first time running, you always just want to check your temperatures. We just started, so things obviously are going to be cool. But you want to touch all your terminals. Now obviously if you're running high voltage systems, you don't want to do that, but for 12 volts, it's fine. even 24. People even argue 48 volts, but don't quote me on any of that. I'm not an electrician. So my dad was saying that to be careful with all these connections, and I was telling him, nah, 12 volts is perfectly safe. So what do we say? We give it a test? Ready? Set. Oh, just kidding. Nope. You can't shock yourself with 12 volts. I mean, obviously if your hands are wet and there's other factors, but dry hands, it's pretty safe to work with 12 volts, which is why it's kind of so popular. Now, it's not the most optimized system. I would say that'd be 48 volts. But for simplicity and the variety of accessories you can purchase, 12 volts is obviously going to be very popular. Now feeling these terminals, most of them are still super cold. Getting a little bit of warmth on this one. So we just want to make sure that's solid. And wow, this is not bad at all. Alright, let's kick her up to see if she'll... Now this is a 1,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. We just pulled more. Nope. So we're doing 1310 now. And she's going strong. I'm not sure what that means. Voltage dipped down a little bit. 12.6 volts. Cranking out some heat, cranking out some power. This fan is on, but barely. So we can spin my fan up and we can close this lid. And I feel the air coming out of here. All right. So I'm sure you guys want to see a capacity test on this. We can check the efficiency of the inverter and let you know all that nerdy stuff. So that's a few minutes now running over 1,000 watts, and this thing isn't even complaining at all or getting hot. So that's super awesome. Now I should be able to put a link in the description for you guys on a lot of this stuff, so check out the description down there if you want to set up something similar. So I appreciate it, guys. Alright, that one's getting a little bit warm now. I still can hold it, it's fine. We're pulling in power from this battery, the 100 amp hour, and then this is going to the 3 batteries that are underneath this, and so is this one. So no problems there. Everything is running nice and cool. This one's a little warm, but that's pretty normal. 1,300 watts. It's quite a decent amount of power. Let's make sure she's tight. Yep, she's tight. That's not even warm down there. That's not even warm. I think this is going to run nice and cool, so I'm very happy about this setup. Alright, let's charge her up and give her a capacity test. Stay tuned. And that should turn our charger on, which it does. And now she's charging up. Alright. Let's top her off and we'll go from there. We got full battery charge, and let's start our discharge test. So disconnect this charger, unplug her over here. Alright. Actually, we can leave that where that's going to go later. Perfect. Now we got our little meter on here that's going to tell us how much we're going to draw. and we're going to use this space heater. Our inverter is already on, ready to go. So let's plug this guy in and turn it on. So we'll turn it on low and we'll see how many watts we draw. Our inverter fan kicked on. 500 watts, 600 watts, 700 watts, 800 watts, 890 watts max. Oh, coming down a little bit. 840, 820, 800. Wow. All right, exact. Oh, 790. All right, 790 watts. Looks like it's evening out there. Perfect. That's going to keep us underneath our 1000 watt max for our inverter. Let's make sure that's all safe over there. We got heat coming out. 790 watts. So this is going to take over 3.5 hours to discharge. That's a little faster than a 0.2C test, but that's fine. It's kind of real world situations. I see a lot of power stations that have a really big inverter and not a lot of battery power. So if you're actually pushing your inverter to 100%, you get something like 30 minutes of runtime, which is really nothing. So I actually sized down the inverter. It's going to be a maximum of, well, we've put 1300 watts to this thing consistently so far in our tests. So maximum of 1000 to 1300 watts, and that'll give you up to maybe 4 hours of backup. And I think that's a little bit more realistic. So let's make sure we're documenting our usage over here. Looks like we're drawing 630 watts on this. That's pretty good. And we got our kilowatts, amps. Alright, so there's our kilowatt hours. So far we've used 0.03 kilowatts. So we'll let this run for 3 to 4 hours and we'll see how many kilowatts we can get out of this battery pack. Stay tuned. Alright, checking in. Heater's still running. Garage is actually warming up a little bit, which is nice in the middle of winter. But we're in Florida, so it's not bad at all. Let's see what we got here. Kilowatts. So 2,000 kilowatts have 2 kilowatts, sorry. 2 kilowatts have come out of this battery bank. It's a 3 kilowatt system. So we are about over 60, probably about 70-75% there, because you do have some loss from your inverter. Alright, things shut off. It looks like our inverter stops at 11 volts. So there is technically a little bit of power left in these batteries, but not much. Plugging it in over here, we got 2.47, so 2,470 watt hours through this plug, through a 3,000 watt hour system. So we'll put some calculations up on the screen and tell you the efficiency of this inverter. Overall though, it ran that heater for 4+ hours. It did a great job. This is going to be awesome to have in a power outage here in Florida, or to bring some power on the go. So thanks for joining. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment. You have any questions about this, let me know. Last but not least, how much did this cost? Now your battery arrangement might be a little different, but mine came in right around $800. So if you compare this amount of battery power to something like an EcoFlow or a Blue Yeti, you're going to be well over $2,000. Now they're probably going to have a big inverter, but the inverter power is cheap. It's the batteries that are expensive. To get a 3,000 watt hour battery system, you might be even looking close to $3,000. So overall, we've saved a tremendous amount of money building it ourselves, and we had fun along the way. Thanks again for your time, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming along with me on this journey. I really like the build. It's a great size. It's got a lot of power. It's versatile. So got inputs and outputs, lights. I even put some lights in the inside so it can light up the area if you have to service anything on the go. But overall, awesome build, and I'm so glad I got to share it with you guys. So please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Hit that like button. It really helps out with the algorithm. And until next time.